Thanks, Stefan. Hi, everyone. My name is Jill, and I am the Enterprise Community Manager for Hitachi Vantara. Quickly, I just want to thank Pedro and the it-novum team for inviting me. This is kind of a last-minute thing, but this is being a community meeting, and me being a community manager, I figured I should probably be here. So, first of all, just show of hands, has anybody heard of the Hitachi Vantara community? Okay, we got a couple. So, the reason I wanted to be here today is to introduce you to a new Pentaho space that we've created on the Hitachi Vantara community. So I'm going to just give you guys a brief overview of what the Hitachi Vantara community is really all about and the direction that we're taking with the Pentaho forums and moving them into this environment. So just a brief overview for those of you who are new to the community. It is a social collaboration network where Hitachi Vantara customers, partners, prospects, pretty much anybody who's interested in what we're doing can ask questions, join discussions, share knowledge, and learn from thought leaders and each other at Hitachi Vantara. So the URL is community.hitachivantara.com. You'll see that it's still when you actually are loading this in the browser, it's still community.hts.com, but we are working on changing that pretty soon here. The purpose of the community is to allow people to get answers, discover insights, and make connections with each other. Again, this is a social network. It's really all about the people, so we really need you to participate to make it happen. So we really started out as a forum solution, much like what you guys have today on the Pentaho forums. And that's really still the primary use case for the community. It's a lot of technical discussions and troubleshooting and information sharing, knowledge sharing, that kind of thing. So over time, as people participate, we're able to build this powerful knowledge base that's searchable so that when people have the same questions, we're not repeating ourselves over and over again. The insights piece really comes from our blog program. So a couple years ago, we decided to transition all of our corporate blogs off of the Hitachi, well, at that time, it was the hts.com website, and move them over to the community to make it a more social, conversational type of program, because blogs are really supposed to be just that, a conversation. And then the connections piece is really, again, all about the people. You guys can follow each other in the community, send direct messages, and build relationships so that you can make those connections with people who are users of the platforms, have the same challenges, are trying to solve for the same issues, and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of different use cases in this community. There's a lot of features, but these are really the foundational elements. So just to give you a quick timeline of how this community has grown and evolved over the past few years. Again, we started out as forums, just like what you guys have right now. In 2013, we launched the HDS community on the Jive software platform. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Jive, it's a social collaboration tool. You can use it internally for employee collaboration, or you can use it externally for customer support, partner enablement, all that stuff. So that's really what our focus is, external. And then over the next couple of years, we made a bunch of UI updates. We aligned more to .com, similar to what you guys have already kind of seen with some of the UI changes within Pentaho. And in 2016, we migrated to cloud. So we are now using the best version of Jive. There's no upgrade process for us. We just get the new features when they release, when they roll out their releases. And then just recently in September, we announced the formation of Hitachi Vantara. So now we are the Hitachi Vantara community. And I don't know if any of you guys were at Next 2017, but that's kind of where they made the big announcement. September 19th was the official launch date. And so Hitachi Vantara is a new company that combines the capabilities of Hitachi Data Systems, Pentaho, and Hitachi Insight Group, or Lumada. So now that we're the Hitachi Vantara community, in order for us to stay relevant and to align to where we're going as a company, there's one really big missing piece, and that's Pentaho. So we've launched a Pentaho space on the Hitachi Vantara community. I know you guys love your forums, but I think we can do a little bit better. So I'm just gonna walk you guys through what we have, and if you guys have feedback, questions, I'm totally open to it. So here we go. So this is the homepage of what you see now on the Pentaho space. If you go to community.pentaho.com, this is the page that you'll now be redirected to. And that actually happened a few weeks ago, well, a few months ago now, I think, before the next event. And the first phase was bringing over all of that CE content. So all the community edition pages were first brought over here. And now we're moving into that next phase of bringing over forums. So just some Jive terminology to get us started. The foundational elements of Jive are people, places, and content. So to put that all together, people create content within places. So we have spaces and groups are the type of places that we have. Not really much difference between the two other than the permissions, but spaces are mostly open to everybody, and groups are by invitation only. So eventually we can leverage groups to transition our Pentaho user groups if we want to. We're not quite there yet. We're in the forum stage right now, but I think gradually we're going to try to bring everything under one roof rather than having all these different sites for CE content, forums, and user groups. And then when it comes to content, we've got a lot more to offer here than just discussions. Even though that is a primary use case, we have blogs, we have documents, we have videos, polls. So we'll be looking at ways we can leverage those and expand the use of the forums beyond just Q&A, if you guys want to. We are very open to feedback and we listen to our users. This is not something that we push to you. We really ask for feedback consistently, and any decisions that we make and any changes that we make are really driven by the users and their feedback. So this is the basic structure of the community. Again, spaces are different than groups, but they're very similar. Spaces have a hierarchical structure. So we have a base Pentaho community, and then all of the individual forum topics are under that. So I know it's kind of hard to see here, but solution and product forums is really where all of that Q&A happens, all of that technical discussion. So we have a Pentaho space under that. And then you'll see all the other topics that we have to offer going across. So I was going to do a demo. I thought it might be a little bit tricky here because I didn't want to stand in front of the screen here, but I have just a couple of screenshots to get you started. So again, it's community.hitachivantara.com or community.hds.com, either one will work. To get started, you want to click that login button in the upper right. And it's a little bit hidden, but if you're brand new and you haven't registered, that register here link is underneath that login button. You'll have a little registration form to fill out. It's a double opt-in process. We have to do this to prevent spammers, basically, so it's a little bit of a process to get started, but it's just kind of a necessary evil, I guess. Once you fill out that form, you'll get a confirmation message here. You'll get a confirmation email that includes an activation link, so it's really important that you get that activation email and click that link in order to activate your account. Once you arrive on the home page of the Hitachi Vantara community, I just want to point out how you're going to get to the Pentaho areas. Again, you'll get to Pentaho directly if you go to community.pentaho.com, but this is where we've placed it within the navigation. So under the Get Answers menu, it's in there under Solution and Product Forums. It's also in the Quick Links tab on the right. So this is the homepage of the Pentaho community right now. Down the left-hand column, you'll see all of the forums that we have so far. We didn't bring over everything. We've brought over the most active stuff. So we'll be probably adding more and more. So we're just going to kind of see how it goes, see what kind of volume we get, and then we'll always be making changes as we go. All of that community content's over on the right-hand side, so that was really the primary focus when we first launched this a few weeks ago. But that little menu, that navigation section is where you're gonna get all of that content. You'll see we have some blogs in here as well. You get a nice view of unanswered questions versus answered questions, so you can kind of see what needs attention, what you might be able to help with, and then the knowledge that's kind of already been captured and the solutions that have already been provided by the users. When you click into one of the individual forums, this is the screen that you'll see, so you get a very easy way to ask a question right at the top. You'll see basically a timeline view, so it looks similar to any other social network that you might use, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. It pretty much it borrows the same type of functionality, and you can actually respond to things in that view. So you don't have to click in and open every individual thread, which makes life a little bit easier. And then again, you still have that navigation for the community content down the right-hand side, so you don't have to keep clicking back and forth. So this is what a question looks like. This is an answered question. We debated a little bit about having questions versus discussions, and one of the key differences in Jive is that it's outcome oriented. So our objective here is to close out these discussions. And so by having this distinction between answered question versus unanswered questions and then discussions, we're able to identify what stuff has already been captured, like I said before. But the nice thing about this is it works similar to, I don't know if anybody has used like Yahoo Answers, but once a question or once a response has been marked correct, it will rise to the top. So you don't have to scroll through that whole thread in order to see the correct answer. This has stopped working. There we go. So a couple things to point out as you get started. There's a lot going on in this community, and we want to help you reduce noise as much as possible. So there's this concept of following people, places, and content. So if you click follow, you can follow it, and that will go into your following stream. You can also click inbox, which will give you inbox notifications. So let's say you just want to be notified via email if something happens, you can do that no problem. And then the actions menu, this is where you create your content. So as you see, we have all these different types of content, so you'll hit question if you want to post a question. And then this is what the ask a question screen looks like. It's very simple, super easy. I think Jive is a pretty intuitive platform, so a lot of user training isn't really necessary, but we do have a full user guide with all kinds of tutorials if you want to learn how to do anything. And we're probably going to start offering some live webinars, so we can do all this training and get you guys going. And then I just wanted to highlight what our profiles look like. So this is something that's pretty robust and one of my favorite features of the platform. You'll see that you can edit your profile. That's just accessible by clicking the little avatar in the upper right. And then you'll see top content, so your contributions, what's getting the most views. You'll see we've got a little points tracker, so there are points given for anything you do in the community. I'm not going to give away all the secrets, but the most points are usually given for people who are responding to things and their answers are marked as correct. So that's probably the most valuable thing you can do, is to have one of your responses marked as correct. And then again, just to edit your profile, you click your avatar. You can view your profile or edit your profile in that menu. So just a recap to get started. You'll register. I dropped the direct registration link in there because it is kind of buried when you go through. The user guide is available on the home page if you go into that Get Started tile on the right-hand side. Complete your profile so we can get to know you and understand what your challenges are, what you're working on. Follow the Pentaho space, like I mentioned. and then start replying to discussions and questions. Leave a comment on a blog or a document. And if you feel compelled to share your experience at this community meeting, we'd love to hear your stories, what you learned, and any follow-up questions or discussions you want to have. So if you guys have questions or feedback, if there's anything that I can help you with, that's why I'm here. So you can follow me. That's the link to my profile. You can also just search Jill Ross in the search bar, and it should pop right up. We have an email distribution list for the community, so it's community@hitachivantara.com. So if you have any login issues, anything like that, just shoot us an email, and we'll help you out. And then we also have a Twitter account, Hitachi CMGR Community Manager. We had to kind of shorten all of our Twitter handles after the Hitachi Vantara launch. So Hitachi Vantara Community was a little bit too long for a Twitter handle. So that's all I've got. If you guys have questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks a lot for having me, and hope to see you in the community.